And we're so excited that you're here today to hear about our Community Health Improvement Plan, the work that's been done over the past year and what we're continuing to work on here. So I think you'll hear some exciting updates, and we're doing some hands-on things too to help equip you with some skills as you walk away today. But I wanted to start, and we're so pleased that we have the support of the county and the city and the importance that they place on this Community Health Improvement Plan. And Mark Bone, who's the chair of the Midland County Board of Commissioners, is here today to give his greetings to all of us. So Mark?
Thank you. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to attend the 2020 update on the Midland County Health Improvement Plan, also known as CHIP. I'm Mark Bone, chairman of the Midland County Board of Commissioners, and accompanying me is Maureen Donker, somewhere I know I saw her in here. I'll be turning it over to her shortly. We are delighted to welcome you to this Community Health Improvement Plan update. It's a collaborative effort of many community leaders and organizations. The mission of the Midland County Board of Commissioners includes protecting the health, the welfare, and the safety of the residents of our community and our employees. As a commissioner, I support our mission, but I realize it cannot be accomplished by government alone. I appreciate the commitment of many entities that are part of the CHIP, seeking to promote community welfare and improve the quality of life for Midland County residents. The CHIP was launched 4 years ago, going into its 5th year, and we're going to give an annual update to the community. Representatives are back this year to share the success, challenges, and discuss new priorities. At this point, I'd like to ask Maureen to come up and say a few words.
I'm right behind you.
There you are.
Good morning and welcome to City Hall. It's so nice to have all of you here today. And I'm really going to echo what Mark has said. The Community Health Improvement Plan is very important to our community. At the city, one of our goals is quality of life. And when you think about all the things that encompass quality of life, certainly the health and well-being of our residents is one of them. But that is something that government on its own can't do. It really takes a collaborative effort of everyone. So when I look around this room, I see so many people who are involved doing many different things in the community to help enhance quality of life, and that is so incredibly important to us. So the CHIP is something, this is a focus on some of the things that are, the highest priorities for us. And so it's really nice to have this opportunity to hear on an annual basis about the work that is being done. So I want to thank everyone for that work, for that collaborative effort, because I think that is the beauty of this community that we do so well, is work together. So thank you everyone for your work, and just like you, I'm very excited to hear what they have to say, so I'm going to turn it back to Sharon so we can all hear what they have to say. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Maureen. And I know we have a few other elected officials in the room, and I just ask that you stand and be recognized as well so we can thank you for your service to our community. So elected officials. Thank you. So the Community Health Improvement Plan. So why did we get started with this? Well, we had done, and Midland is a community that loves to study and make sure we understand all the facts and what's happening in our community. But we said we need to develop a plan to address some of these areas that we see. And at the time when we began this, we knew that we are an aging population in Midland County, that we have a population of adults that are continuing to get older, and we need to make sure that we have proper care and then proper services for them in our community. We also knew that there was concern over substance abuse in our community, and that, of course, continues, and it really follows the nationwide challenge that we see. And in 2017, the highest number of people on record died of a drug overdose nationally. So we know that that's an area of concern. We also know that in 2016, which was the last year we did a survey of all of our youth, we found that Midland County youth, nearly 800, reported either thoughts of suicide or suicide attempts. And again, there's been a decrease nationwide in life expectancy due to suicide and drug overdose deaths. We also studied our community, and we saw that a third of our community here in Midland County, adults are overweight, obese. And actually, we're higher than the state average of 31%. We were 33%. So that's not where you want to exceed the state average in that one. So those were things that all prompted our thinking to look at what do we need to do and what kind of strategy should we devise to address these areas. So that's where we began our work with the Community Health Improvement Plan. Now, first I need to give you a little background, because who does this? Where did this come from? Well, we have a collaborative group in our community called the Midland County Health and Human Services Council. And the goal of this group is to promote our community's welfare and improve the way people connect with services. So it's local people coming together, working on issues that are important in a very collaborative way. So we come together not because of the organizations we represent solely, but because we know we need to come together as a group to address things in our community. And we have some guiding principles that help to direct our work, and that is families have complex needs that cut across agency boundaries. And we know that collaborative services produce the best results, and that local people solve local problems. So those are some guiding principles that help in our work as the Health and Human Services Council. And we do a variety of things. We collaborate on funding and planning. We provide the needed approval that's required on some statewide and other grants. We endorse, we evaluate programming here in our community. We leverage expertise to optimize the way that we deliver services in our community. And we disseminate data to be used for planning, evaluating, and endorsing of programs and services. So we also do those things when we meet. And so here is a mugshot of all of us that you can see. But we have a membership that includes 27 key community leaders that focus on health and social service delivery. And again, we foster collaboration and cooperation. So we have folks from agencies in our community, from the education sector, from healthcare, from business, from the faith-based community, from the courts, from law enforcement, from city and county government. So it's a wide cross-section of people that come together to work on these issues. So the 4 areas that we are addressing right now in our Community Health Improvement Plan are later life quality, substance use disorder, healthy weight, and mental health. And you're going to hear an update from each of those areas today as we move ahead. So first up, we're going to talk about later life quality. And we have Charlie Schwedler. He serves as Executive Director for Senior Services here in Midland County, that will update you on what his team's been working on. Charlie?
Well, had I known this was going to be such a distinguished crowd, I wouldn't have slept last night. Or maybe you look at me and think, you didn't sleep last night. One of the two. I'm not sure which that is. Anyhow, I couldn't be happier with the progress, and what a great group we have. It's a diverse group that are working on this, of folks that are from both the private and public sector. So, and mostly folks that in their scope of work with older adults. And if you notice, I will try to always say the word older adult rather than senior citizen or elders or whatever. And the whole idea, and one of the things we're really fighting, is ageism. We want to be a very welcoming committee or community to older adults, and obviously to younger adults as well, to everyone. So that's what we're working on. So many of you know, because we ran a phenomenal Ponzi scheme, we did the senior asset survey. And what I mean by that is we sent people out all over the county, and in fact we included every single township. We had survey results from every single township. We had over 1,600 surveys. It was a senior asset survey, very similar to the youth asset survey. We worked with the Legacy Center on this. And so we had phenomenal results from that. And what we did was we started looking at those. We had them analyzed, and we started using those results and looking at those results. And we made presentations about those results to try to come up with, okay, what are some other goals that we might need to be working on? So that was one of the things that we had done. We also have a great partnership with Mid-Michigan Health System. They had written a grant, a loneliness grant. And again, it's for older adults, and it's called Bridge to Belonging. And an incredible grant. We're still really working through that. We're in phase 2 of that. And we're doing some great things with that. But the whole idea of that is to get healthcare providers to, when they notice that someone an older adult in particular, has some issues with loneliness, they get them connected with different groups in the community that will help them deal with that loneliness, obviously senior services being one of them. So that has been a great plan. In fact, you're going to see one of the short video you're going to see is a result of a video that they had done with us. So that has been great. We work with, part of our group is, and this existed before, but it made sense, you don't reinvent the wheel, with JD and some other folks, is MCVAN, Midland County Vulnerable Adult Network. And we work with that group it's interdepartmental, again, private and public, police and sheriff and prosecutor's office and adult protective services all work together to try to come up with plans to help work with vulnerable adults. And in fact, there are several cases have been prosecuted, some of which really were a direct result of the work that this group had done together. Plus, we had done a ton of educational seminars with faith-based community, all sorts of different groups. So we're real happy about that. The other thing that we're doing, we did this year, is we had a great, some good movement. I wouldn't call it great yet. It's getting there. One of the problems is that when folks are discharged from the hospital, what happens then? And where do they turn? Whether it's their medication, whether they're following what they're supposed to be doing. So we're working really hard at that, and we're making some progress. So, I did it the right way. All right. So that was what we did. What we hope to do this year, we want to have at least one new goal that is based on the survey. I think that's a great thing to work with. We're going to continue to work with Mid-Michigan Health on the Bridge to Belonging grant, the loneliness work. We're going to continue to do educational programs through MCVAN, and we're looking really at both the professionals and the residents of a lot of the assisted living homes that we have here. So we're working on that. We're going to work really hard on that. We really believe that this is an issue with the discharging and how we can help them, because the hospital can't do everything. They do a ton, but they can't do everything, and so we want to do that. And then we also want to work on doing some presentations just about how loneliness is so impactful on a person's overall health, especially older adults. I wouldn't even say especially older, on everybody, but older adults, it's a big deal. And if you've done any work with older adults or you have them in your life, you know what that's all about. So this is part of the video that is Mid-Michigan Health created with us. And the only thing I want to say about this video is, you won't believe this, but it has not been scripted. Okay? This wasn't scripted at all.
My name is Janice Reed. I like coming to the senior services for the companionship and the friendliness of all the people that come here. Before I came to the senior center, I didn't do anything but sit in a chair and did nothing but watch movies on television. I came here all of a sudden, just came to the senior center and walked over to a table of ladies and said, "What are you playing?" And they told me what they were playing, and I said, do you play cards? And I say, well, I've played cards. And they said, you know a king from an ace, or you know cards? I said, yes. Well, then sit down and we'll teach you. So I started coming every day. And I think, what was I missing all those years? My health was declining, and now it's better than it's ever been. The best thing that ever happened to me.
That is our update, and Sam and Catherine, so for the substance abuse. Thank you.
So in the area of substance use disorders, we continue to press forward with addressing the complex issues that go within our community. You'll see one of our first accomplishments is actually referencing 2018 with Proposition 1 in terms of recreational marijuana. The reason that we put it on there is that it wasn't until in 2019 that we actually got the results where we saw that within Midland County and within the city of Midland, we at least were successful in helping to defeat the proposal here. Sure, it passed statewide, but as a result of the efforts of our collaboration, particularly with Legacy taking the lead of doing a lot of education with community groups and parents and whatnot, we made a difference here at least, if nothing else. We have done over Narcan training with over 200 people as far as professionals and family members in the community to make sure that they have an understanding of how to access and utilize this life-saving medication if somebody they find is in a overdose situation as a result of an opiate overdose. Which has been helpful, and making sure that distribution has expanded so that the health department has it available, CMH has it available, and it's available through other community locations. And then what we've seen on the youth side and even on the adult side, there's been a massive epidemic and influx of the increase of use of e-cigarettes and vaping. That's going to have a dangerous intersection with the recreational marijuana use. And what we already know in terms of what we see in increased utilization among our high school students, it's kind of overwhelming the Legacy Center right now with requests for interventions for students that they're facing. So we've been pretty productive and active trying to respond to some of the changing needs in our community, but also moving forward with that, we're going to look at 2020 plans.
So in 2020, we're already working actively with the schools to design an alternative to suspension for vaping, because we're suspending students for vaping, but it's an addiction, and so they need more than just a suspension. And the schools have come to us and asked us to help design what that looks like, and we're actively in the process of that right now. We're also planning to expand our community education on vaping, cannabis use, particularly in terms of preventing youth and pregnancy, and also safe driving or making good choices about driving after you've consumed. And then we're also looking a lot at polydrug use, because it's no longer that it's just an opioid overdose. There's a lot of multiple drug use involved that's leading to some of these overdoses. And so Narcan doesn't always work when you've got cocaine in your system or something else. And so our goal this year is to do a lot of community education. We've got some extra grant funding to help us with those community campaigns. And then we'll be looking closely at the gaps for families, specifically those who have loved ones that are struggling with substance use disorder. We're planning to do some focus groups this year and understand what their specific needs are so that we can begin to design interventions to help assist them through that trial in their lives. And we're also working to integrate all of our messaging across substance use disorder, because we've been very siloed. We've been talking about opioids, we've been talking about marijuana or cannabis, we've been talking about vaping, but there's a connection across all of them. So this year we're hoping to figure out ways to integrate that a little more carefully. And Sam is going to do a quick Narcan demonstration for you.
Yeah, we thought, one of the things that we're trying to do with, as we do the CHIP presentations, is how do we give you tangible things beyond just kind of bragging about things that we're doing and things along that line. So to leave you just kind of a hands-on thing, if you ever find yourself in a personal or professional situation where you may need to have this available, then how you use it is an important thing. This is Narcan, that's the brand name for this type of dispensal of the medication called Naloxone. So what I would recommend, first and foremost, if you have a smartphone, there's a great app called Stop OD NYC that explains everything that you would need and walk you through it. And what you'll see on here when you go to their app is on the bottom, there's 4 different types of naloxone, and you can pick the one that you need to do and use. And so for something like this, it literally walks you through step by step of what you need to do if you find yourself in that kind of a situation. Because it really is as simple as taking the case and opening up if you have somebody that has passed out because of an overdose. Making sure that they are on their back. You take the medication out, you take the top off, top is already off of it, and you literally put it in their nostril and you spray, like that. And then you put it in their other nostril and you spray as well. It's as simple as that. If they have stopped breathing after you've administered the Narcan, then you start rescue breathing. If after about 2 to 3 minutes you see that they're not beginning to respond, if you have a second dose, a second kit or medication, administer that again, because there is a chance that maybe there was fentanyl in the opiates that they were taking in. We don't know the toxicity or the level of what they have in them. They may need a second dose. Because the other thing, first step that I forgot to mention is first, call 911, get first responders there, then administer this, then do the rescue breathing. Then if you need to do a second dose, do a second dose until EMS or the police or sheriff's department can get there to take it from there. Because we've had reports from first responders that where they've had to do 2, 3, 4 doses on folks before they can get them back. The good thing about that is you don't have to know for sure why they've passed out. If they've passed out for other reasons, this is not going to hurt them. So you're not going to do anything dangerous if you give this to them and they have passed out because of cocaine or methamphetamine or something else along that line. So those are the important things. If you want to know where to get naloxone, we have RAT cards that tell you where you can get it. It is free. If you have insurance, you can get it covered by your insurance. It is fully covered by Medicaid. Or you can have it free from these community locations. We have a RAT card there in the back. We actually have Narcan kits here. So again, if you're working in a professional or personal situation or setting where you think you need to have this in your first aid kit, then take one. That's why they're here, because you may be in a position where you need to save somebody's life, and there's a tangible way that you can do that. So we have a whole bunch of resources that are available for anyone that is interested or needing of that, and it all has come through really your kind of community tax dollars in action. So thank you.
Sam, is that a single dose
Yes.
unit right there?
Yep.
So when you say, if they haven't come around, give them another dose.
Right.
That's
There are 2 different types of naloxone, and one of them you have to do a squirt in both nostrils. The other one, this one's enough for 1 dose. But you're right, if it's got something like fentanyl mixed in, you may need to do multiple doses.
So another unit like that.
Yep,
Right.
each box comes with 2 doses.
Right.
Okay.
So depending on where you live, then you may want to have more. Like if you live out in the county where it may take a little bit longer for a first responder to get there, then you may need to have that. If you're in the city and maybe they can get there faster, it's one of those things, you know your situation, what your needs are. So thank you. We'll move it on to Stephanie.
Well, I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to follow the 2 of you, because I did want to thank you for the opportunity to share the vaping show and tell with the maturing process programs that are coming up. Free commercial for, I guess we've got them in February for maturing process for boys, and in March, maturing process for girls. So if you know anyone who's of the maturing process age, please invite them to come. It's a very holistic program, not just about it's everything that affects people who are maturing, and including what's happening, with vaping and drug use, in our community. So sorry for the free commercial, but glad to have that opportunity. And now to talk a little bit about healthy weight. I do want to call out, there's a couple people on my team here. I'm going to say, Tara, please stand, and Kevin. And you know what, Greg, I'm going to make you stand too, because you're next year. Dorian. Yep. Yeah, you're in. You're in. Just a couple of the people that have supported our program this year that we're going to need to call on even more next year, and I just wanted to give them a thank you. Go ahead and sit down. Thank you very much. So this year, we continue for Healthy Weight, we continue to support in the community all programs and projects that are out there for maintaining healthy weight that are physical activity related. And we did focus on that for a couple years, and what we came to find out is that Midland has a plethora of opportunity for people to exercise. We have parks, we have rail trail, we have many businesses who provide opportunities to exercise. We just need to help people be motivated to do that. So we do continue to support those efforts, and we've changed our focus a little bit towards healthy weight and actually looking at trying to provide more nutrient-dense food for people. And so this year we focused specifically on a Midland County Prescription for Health program. And it's really why I had Tara stand, because she came into town, took a job at MSU Extension, and was willing to partner with us immediately to provide a program that is actually specifically designed by MSU Extension for farmers markets. And it's a really, really neat program. We were able to, I think we had room for 24, and I think 21 people is what we ended up having in our participation. But it's really designed that way because it's, well, first of all, it was free. We did achieve a grant to help us with this program. And it brings people to the farmers market who maybe, we actually held the classes at the farmers market, but these are people who haven't been exposed and maybe are even wondering if that's a place where they could go and shop. So all they had to do was come to the farmers market, attend the class, and the curriculum provides all kinds of information on healthy foods, but also Tara provided recipes and food demonstrations. And if you want, there's one in the back on it's how do you use blueberries in muffins. So I would encourage you to take one of those. But they also had the opportunity to then meet the vendors who are at the farmers market and feel comfortable just shopping there and being with these people. So that, I think those were really a lot of the reasons why it was good. And also, we scheduled the classes. There were 6 of them, 2 different sessions, and they were scheduled between July and October. So people who came to the classes had the opportunity to be exposed to the fruits and vegetables that are seasonal for the summer and the fall. So pretty ingenious, right? Thanks to Tara. Let's see. What else did I want to say? Oh, it was quotes from the families. We do have a little bit of a video to show you from the farmers market, and Tara's able to speak there. But when we looked at the surveys, one participant said, "Our family has tried several new vegetables due to this class. I have been more conscientious of the fruits and veggies that I eat daily. My children are now eating summer squash, zucchini, and eat it without complaining." Pretty darn cool, right? And also, there was an improvement in the participants. They were surveyed before and after the program. They did show improvements in using their SNAP benefits. And so if you want to see the full impact report, I think we have copies in the back if you'd like to see the full impact report that Tara provided. Okay, so next year, we do have some plans. We are planning to expand the Prescription for Health program. That's why I'm pointing over at Greg, because we want to move the class to a more rural site. And also we're considering transportation from that rural site. You may know which one I'm talking about by my pointing. And trying to bring people who go to West Midland Family Center to the farmers market, because maybe they don't have transportation to get there. And if we hold the class there, we want to partner, we already are partnering with Michigan State University College of Medicine, because the medical students there have gained an interest, and they've recognized with us that these are people that live in that area that may not be attached to a physician. And so we want to make sure we make that connection with them in a friendly environment. How's that sound? Pretty good to me. What else are we thinking? We also are looking at increasing the year-round fresh fruit and vegetable supply with other partnerships within the community, because we recognize there are many efforts going on and we haven't spread out as much as we could. So working with some of the pantry networks and community gardens, we hope to just make more fresh fruits and vegetables available. We're also working with SVSU, and that's what made me think a little bit more about year-round fruits and vegetables. They have many ideas on how we might be able to extend the hoop houses and other means of growing fruits and vegetables year-round. They're also helping us explore a summer STEM education program with Greater Midland. And so this year, just getting into it a little bit, they are going to take some of their students from their, what is it that they have? I want to see what they call it. They have a summer program, and I wanted to name it correctly. It's called the High School STEM Scholars Network High School Camp. They have students who come to Saginaw Valley for that camp, and they will start to spend some time at Greater Midland exploring some hands-on experience with gardening and nutrition kinds of curriculum that we are then going to grow into the next year for a summer STEM a high school food ambassador program. So they actually have one of their MPH students who's going to be working on that program, so that by 2021, we will actually have the opportunity to have high school students within Midland attend a summer food ambassador camp. So that's some of what we're looking at. And then actually next we have a video from the farmers market that we want to show you. And Tara's really excited to see herself on the screen. Do I have to push it? Thank you.
Right by the farmers market, the Michigan State University Extension Service offered a 6-week class called Prescriptions for Health, focusing on how to shop healthy on a budget.
For your fruits and vegetables, look for ones that look fresh, bright and colored, aren't wilted or bruised. And if you aren't sure how they're supposed to look or feel, ask the farmer and they'll be able to help you.
Tara Roberson is the Community Nutrition Instructor for the MSU Extension Service in Midland. She uses a great visual to explain what we should be putting on our plate.
47 cents per serving. So this is called My Plate. My Plate is a visual guideline for people to see the 5 different food groups that we should be eating. So for example, your vegetables is a larger portion of the plate, so we want to be eating more vegetables. Fruits and vegetables together is about half a plate, so we ask people, are you eating half a plate of fruits and vegetables every day? And if you are, you know, how are you doing it? And if you're not, how can we go about doing that more? We also talk about your proteins, grains, and dairy, which are also really important food groups.
Make sure that you take the impact report and a recipe with you when you leave, thanks to Tara. And now I'd like to introduce Dina Mason. She is the Program Director for Community Mental Health of Central Michigan, who is going to update us on all the exciting work that's being done in mental health in our community.
So I'm going to share several accomplishments from 2019 with the mental health priority area. We have first, My Hope Portal, MIHopePortal.com, has been extended to cover all Michigan zip codes. So you can now go on the website to the portal and do a search based on your zip code to receive information on resources in your community wherever you live in Michigan. So I'm just going to demonstrate so you guys can try it on your own. So when you go to the portal, there's several ways to maneuver through, but if you want to search by zip code, there's a search link. You enter in your zip code, and we discovered even though it asks for your age, you do not have to put that in there, even if they try to peer pressure you into doing that. So you type in your zip code here and you scroll down. You can click on which resource you're specifically looking for. Under mental health and substance abuse, for example, gives you a list of different resources available, and you can select which specific resource you're looking for, and it will give you search results based on what you've entered. So this is powered by 211. So in addition to the portal being expanded to all of the zip codes, there also has been a public service announcement video that was created to spread the word about the portal and how to access the portal. So I'm going to share the short video clip with you too. Let's see.
Does something just not seem right with your loved one? Do they have extreme mood changes? Are they making strange plans or saying things that don't make sense? Are you worried they might hurt themselves? If you answered yes to any of these questions and you weren't sure where to find help, call 211 or visit myhopeportal.com. Either of these resources will help you find the right mental health services to help your loved one. That's 211 and myhopeportal.com. Help is just a call or click away.
So one of the things that we would like to ask the audience to do today is to visit your Facebook account, and If you type in the search link in Facebook, you can type in Hope Portal, find My Hope Portal. Yeah, pull out your phones, do it now if you'd like. You search for Hope Portal. When you get to their Facebook page, there's a videos link. Click on the videos link, find the public service video. It's the first one that pops up, and share it on your Facebook page and your agency's Facebook pages too if you have those. So, in addition to expanding the portal, a lot of other work has been done in the area of mental health. We had a training back in April, and 47 local therapists were trained in an evidence-based practice for assessing suicidality. And feedback from the therapists has been very positive, in that they all feel much more comfortable using this evidence-based intervention to assess for suicide risk. Also, we have done a ton of work in spreading the word about mental health resources and trying to fight some stigma associated with mental health. We've had a number of columns authored by our Mental Health Gaps group members in the Midland Daily News. There's an advertising sticker in the Midland Daily News, local radio public service announcement, appearance on the Art Lewis Show, local radio, in advance of Mental Health or Mental Illness Awareness Week. Several area businesses are promoting the portal on their electronic business signs, which is nice. And many information and resources have been distributed through a number of community events specific to behavioral health and mental health awareness. Also, in our schools, all 4 Midland school districts have received grant money for mental health services in the school, or in the schools, and those funds have been used to hire additional staff and work with community providers to increase access to services in Midland. So, staff also in the school received during their professional development during opening week information on building and promoting positive, meaningful relationships and utilizing restorative practices rather than punitive disciplinary measures to address behavioral issues. So, one of the things that I'm going to do with you guys to make my part of the presentation interactive is I'm going to share a very simple, short skill that you guys can use in your everyday life to kind of take a mini mental health break. I'm going to walk you through a short, simple mindfulness exercise. So those of you that are willing to entertain me and participate, if you can just kind of sit up straight in your chair and make sure your feet are planted firmly on the floor, kind of relax a little bit. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes and just notice your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your belly. And the rise and fall of your chest. Notice the cool air coming in and the warm air going out. And just pay attention to your breath. You may want to move around a little bit, but gently bring your attention back to your breath. Notice how your mind tries to interrupt. This is normal. When you notice you're lost in thought, just come back to your breath. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes and bring your attention back to the room. So take that with you and use it later today, after you get to the office.
Not while driving.
You can still breathe while you're driving, Sam.
It's encouraged.
That's the nice thing about mindfulness, is you can practice it wherever you go. So. I'm also going to share some of our plans for 2020. So I'm happy to announce that Mental Health Court in Midland will kicking off this week. Our first mental health court meeting is tomorrow, I believe. So that is a result of a grant and certification application that was submitted and approved, and we're excited to see that happening. So if you see Judge Karras, thank him for taking on this endeavor. We're going to continue to raise awareness and provide community education to keep our residents up to date on the mental health initiatives and resources available through local media and in-person measures or in-person efforts as well. Mid-Michigan Health, we're going to continue to work with them to promote zero suicide initiative activities to continue to maintain a robust effort at making our community suicide safer. Crisis intervention team training. We are in the process currently of planning for the second training to occur in April with law enforcement so that they can learn de-escalation techniques for when they encounter someone experiencing a mental health crisis. And going to continue to explore funding options for gaps in mental health services. So some of the stuff we're doing. I'm going to hand it over to Sharon, and she's going to close the presentation today.
All right. So obviously we've been busy, and we realize that, and some incredible work that has gone on over the past year. We know there's more to do, always, to help to improve our community, to keep it safer, to keep people healthier, to make sure people have well-being. But a couple things that we're asking you to do as you go is to go to and promote the Hope Portal. And so Dina shared with you how you can do that. So encourage you to do that, to go to promote that. So that's a resource that people have, because often when they need help is not the convenient time, maybe when our doors are necessarily open. And often they want to seek help when they're by themselves trying to figure out what to do. And so having that right there is very important. Also, practice mindfulness. It's a great skill to take just a little break, that minute break, and just center yourself and bring you back to where you are. So that's a way you can just care for yourself. We encourage you to keep Narcan with you at your place of business or in your home. And again, there are some kits here, and there's a list of locations where you can get more if you would like to have more available. And to shop at Farmers Market when it's open. I know we're longing for those days, but when it is open, shop there. And make sure that you do keep a lot of fresh veggies and fruits in your home and consume those when you're after a snack. And to reach out to lonely older adults that you may know, that you may interface with, maybe in your neighborhood, maybe in your church, or other groups that you're a part of, to reach out to them and to connect them with resources. Particularly, we know Senior Services has so many of those wonderful resources available. So those are some things that you can do as a result of what you've heard here today. And we also encourage you to like our Facebook page, Health and Human Services Council Facebook page. So you can go there and you can like us. In fact, we could get more likes than we've had in a long time if everybody does that right here today. And then we'd like to answer any questions that you have. Again, we thank you so much for your interest in the work of our community with this Community Health Improvement Plan, for your interest in making sure that we are helping to make Midland a place where people truly can thrive. But we would love to take your questions, and I'll pull up some of our presenters here to help with those. So what questions do you have for us today?
Sharon, you mentioned at one point that the last time we surveyed the youth were 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Is that scheduled again?
Yeah,
how does that work?
And
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, thanks. So the question was that we did our last youth survey in 2016 where we surveyed our middle school, high school students and plans for the next survey. So that's been a project of the Legacy Center. So I'm going to ask Catherine if she has kind of a time frame in mind when you're looking at doing that.
Yeah, we're looking at next December. So the results would come out in 2021.
So 2021. Okay. Other questions you have for us?
Wanting to hear more about the mental health court. Like,
Sure.
what exactly is that?
Yeah, I can speak a little
yes,
bit.
step up here.
So mental health court is a treatment court. A problem-solving court is another term for it as well. Individuals are referred for mental health court if they, I'm not an attorney and I don't use legal words very well, so if I get this wrong, don't blame me. They commit a crime. I don't know what the technical term for that is, but you commit a crime, and if it is a direct result of your mental health issues, and the team believes that a mental health intervention is more appropriate than a legal intervention, then we team up to provide both. So the court provides the leverage for the person to receive the treatment. So the person has to be willing to accept this in lieu of harsher,
More punitive
yeah,
measures.
more punitive measures. So mental health court typically it lasts about a year. So the conviction or the crime has to be like big enough to be worth it. Like there has to be enough return on the investment. So if someone is facing like jail time or like maybe going to jail for a year, well, you can show up to court twice a month instead and meet with a counselor and then as a result, if they complete the terms of mental health court, then their charges can be reduced or eliminated. So good question. Yeah.
So what's on the calendar tomorrow related to
Yeah, so mental health court, and there's a treatment team that meets prior to the court proceedings. Tomorrow's our very first meeting. So we will be looking at the defense attorneys and or the prosecutor's office. Anyone can refer. We'll be looking. Now, why didn't I refer to you
Oh, you're
to
doing
speak
fine.
that?
He's hiding.
Anyway, where was I? So the attorneys have sent in referral forms to the mental health court liaison. She has a list of names, people that are being recommended. So the treatment team will meet tomorrow. We'll review the cases, see if the crime that was committed is a direct result of someone's mental health condition, and if so, if that person is going to be recommended for mental health court. In order to participate, you have to go through a thorough assessment through community mental health to determine, that there is a mental health condition and that the treatment would help with preventing that from occurring again. So, did that answer your question? Okay. Yeah.
Just a follow-up on that, what do we know about the capacity on mental health court? Can we do hundreds? Can we do dozens?
Yeah, well, I don't think we're going to have a capacity issue anytime soon, and I don't know if I can really speak to that, but now...
I think we're geared to handle as much as 25 cases. At this point, additional funding or resources would be necessary if we exceeded that.
Okay.
But it will take a while to build up a caseload.
The first year, the first grant cycle, we're anticipating like maybe half a dozen cases or something as they start to trickle in and we work out the kinks of the mental health court. So those of you some of you may be aware of like drug court, My Hope. We have a number of treatment courts in Midland, so we're really lucky. We're excited to be one of the counties in the state to also offer the mental health court as an additional resource. So, yeah.
So other counties do offer?
Yeah, there's like 26 or something. I mean, there's a ton of them. So, yeah. It was just a matter of having a judge that had more space on their docket, more willingness to take on another treatment team. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Other questions? Great. Well, certainly those that presented will be here afterwards, so if you'd like to talk further, we invite that. And again, thank you for your interest. Thank you for being here today, and ask you to help spread the word on some of the things that we shared with you today. Have a great day.